I the a-hole for leaving my friend at the brewery when he brought up something that haunts me? A few years ago, while on a hike with my wife, she slipped and fell. I was not able to get her up. For those of you who are familiar, this took place at the 14er group out of Chicago Basin. So it was stressful. Thankfully, another man was able to get her out, but it was hours later and she had been perched on a cliff under the drop site. That is terrifying. Oh my God. OP, I'm so thankful you were able to get your wife. Thank goodness that other person came by. She has never been upset with me for not being able to help her up by myself. We were both avid, experienced hikers, but I'm not a strong guy, and she's a sturdy gal. The fear on her face is something imprinted in my mind and something that will always haunt me. For that split second, I thought I would lose her forever. Not being able to help her haunts me. OP, that's awful. That's scary, bud. She and I were together at the brewery with some friends. One of them was talking about a trip he planned up to Kumo to the Blanca Little Bear Traverse. We did that one a while back and I had some advice for him. For absolutely no reason, he looked at me and said, "Okay, bro, I'm not taking advice from the man who left his..." Oh, man. Sorry, y'all. That's a hard one to read. "Okay, bro, I'm not taking my advice from a man who left his wife to rot on sunlight. There's nothing that would stop me from punching that guy. I would be beating the crap out of him and just asking him, what the hell did you just say? I didn't just leave my wife to rot. The only thing that I tried to do was help her, and you know that I couldn't, so why the hell would you put that in my face, you absolute f***ing scum?" Friendship over at that point. He almost lost his wife, and you think that's a funny thing to joke about? Some friend. My wife immediately corrected him, but I was stunned. He thought it was hilarious and had a huge grin on his face. Of course he did. What a loser. But he's an alpha bro. All those alpha bros are such losers. I didn't know what to say, so I just got up to get another drink, but ended up going outside. My wife came to find me and asked if I was okay. I was honestly very upset and said I'd like to go. She drove us home. The issue? Our friend was expecting us to drive him home, and I didn't say anything or tell him where I was. I just left. He texted me, "Where the fuck you go, bro? And bro, why are you ignoring me?" He had to take an Uber home, which was expensive, and he deserved it. I asked him why he would bring up the accident when he knows how I feel about it. He responded with a bunch of images of emojis pointing and laughing. He said that my hypersensitivity cost him money. He's out of work, so that's true. And that I need to nut up and learn to laugh at myself. There's things you joke about, and there's things you don't joke about. You don't joke about my wife almost dying. You don't joke about the fear we had. You don't get to joke about that. You weren't part of it. The only thing that you could joke about in that vein is if you and him had a near-death experience that you survived and that was your coping mechanism. But this isn't the coping mechanism. This is you just being an a-hole and telling him to nut up and shut up, right? I've met people like that, and I've had to cut them out of my life because of it. Because when I start to tell them hey, I don't appreciate the way you treat me. I don't appreciate you always putting me down because what, you're jealous of my accomplishments? So you want to make me feel like they're less than? Go f*** yourself, okay? I don't need this and you don't need me, clearly. Because you're not treating me with respect or love, why would I have you in my life? That person cut me off and told me to basically shove it and just learn to take it. We're just men. If I'm putting you down and making you feel like a piece of crap, you shouldn't feel bad about that. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. I'm laughing. Hey, bud, the other guy isn't. But you don't get that, do you? And you never will. Because people like this guy will only ever think about themselves and their best interests while putting everybody else down. He's a bully. He's a loser. And he doesn't deserve to be in your life. This is not very typical behavior for him. I don't really hang out with guys who do all that bro stuff. He has been a historically nice guy, and I also would not have normally just abandoned someone I promised a ride. Am I the a-hole for leaving him without a ride? Nah, this is so cut and dry. He was a complete a-hole for you, brought up a traumatic experience that made you need to go get a breather. He could not understand why you weren't laughing. He couldn't understand why you're not joking about the fact that your wife almost died. Come on, man, it's funny. You're such a pathetic man that you let your wife kind of just sit there, right? It's hilarious. Dude, it's not. And this is clearly a point of not only his pride, who he is, and something that he wish he could have done something different about, something that he probably thinks about constantly, one of the scariest moments of his and his wife's life, and you're just making fun of it. It's cool. That's what people who are emotionally unavailable do. And it sounds like this guy's been a good guy up until this point, so it's really disappointing that this seems to be that break point. I really hope he gets his head out of his ass and figures it out, because this is not it. Let's read a couple comments. Hey, this is a pretty good tip for anyone reading this. If you want someone to do you a favor, don't be intentionally cruel to them. Not the a-hole. I would not feel bad for him to experience a consequence for his actions. And I would need a real apology before ever considering meeting with him again. Favors would be off the table indefinitely regardless. Couldn't agree more. This guy does not deserve your kindness if he's just going to take advantage of it. And then he doubled down and talked about it afterwards. What an asshat. He's the a-hole. OP's not the a-hole. That's not your friend, not your bro, not your buddy, not your pal, not your guy. That was a low blow, and he cost himself money with that comment. Not the a-hole. You should drop that person from your life. I think it's a cruel thing to say, but I think everybody personally deserves a second chance. If this guy's historically been a nice guy and you've enjoyed him, give him the chance to apologize and let him understand that you don't joke about stuff like that. I don't know what was going on that day. I don't know why he thought it was funny, but if this guy's a good friend, I don't necessarily agree with dropping that person from your life. Because sometimes in adult life, it's hard to find new friends. And if you can get past something, I personally believe water under the bridge exists for a reason. But this guy has to know and respect and love and care for the stuff that you have been through and done in order to be in your life, right? He's got to respect the fact that your wife almost died. He's got to respect that and not make jokes about it. And that's, I feel like, a pretty easy thing to do. And if he could do that, maybe he doesn't have to exit your life. But if he ever makes another joke about your wife like that, or about you and the situation that you could not control no matter how hard you wanted to, gone. No second chances. You already got your first chance and you were an ass. Second chance is gone. Not the a-hole. Let me know what you guys think. And make sure to follow and subscribe if you made it this far. Much love.